Hello, my name is Marion Brodie. I'm a speech and language therapist and a researcher based in Glasgow in Scotland in the UK. I'm delighted to be here today to share with you some of our findings relating to what speech and language therapy treatments work best. I'm going to start today with a plan of the talk, how I plan to progress in these slides. The next slide will talk about some symbols I'll be using throughout the talk, which indicate how confident we can be in the results that I'm sharing. I'll then talk about the differences between early and delayed treatment, different treatment targets, computer-based therapy, therapy and home practice, family support in the delivery of therapy, and I'll finish up with some thoughts about what next. So throughout this talk, you will see these symbols, which indicate how confident we can be in the results that I'm sharing. Green indicates that we can be very confident that the results will not change, even when there are more studies included in the review at a future date. Orange would mean that we are quite confident that the results are unlikely to change, even when we include future studies in a new review. Red would indicate that we are not at all confident that the results will definitely change in the future with new studies emerging. In fact, I would have so little confidence in the red category that I'm not actually sharing them with you here today. All of the research I will share today is based on large reviews. I will highlight how many people informed the research results that I share, and I will also highlight how many studies or trials these people participated in. So, in relation to early or delayed aphasia treatment, which is best? In our recent large review, we found that the biggest recovery in language was associated with therapy delivered in the first month after aphasia onset. However, we also saw that gains in language were also associated with therapy that was delivered between 3 months and between 3 and 6 months. Gains were still seen and associated with therapy that was delivered after 6 months with aphasia. So we can be very confident in these results. They were based on more than 1,000 people with aphasia and 29 different studies. The next question is, what treatment approach works best? Well, we actually need many more studies that make a direct comparison between treatment A and treatment B. However, with what information is available to us, we can say right now that when therapy is focused on improving somebody's understanding or their spoken language, then for the person with aphasia, that's associated with the best language improvements in their overall language ability and their everyday speech. When therapy is focused on word-finding therapy, then for the person with aphasia, that's associated with improvements in their ability to name objects or actions. And interestingly, it's associated with improvements in their understanding of language too. We can be quite confident about this result. It's based on 245 people with aphasia from between 3 and 8 trials. The variations there in the numbers reflect different analyses for each of the things that I described. Computer-based treatment is as helpful as face-to-face therapy from a therapist. And similarly, telerehabilitation, where therapy is conducted through a video conference, it is as helpful as face-to-face therapy with a therapist. So computer-based therapy and telerehabilitation approaches can be used to support the delivery of therapist-led activities. We are quite confident in this result, It's based on between 62 and 173 people with aphasia after stroke, and between 1 and 6 trials. Home practice and treatment is important. Where therapists prescribe home practice, it is associated with the best overall language gains for the person with aphasia. This is based on between 87 and 278 people with aphasia that were participating in between 2 and 7 trials. Family members or volunteers play an important role in this home practice activity. So family members can play an important role in delivering therapy. Working with family members can increase the amount of therapy provided to the person with aphasia. And we know from our research that people with aphasia benefit when family members help to deliver a therapist-led program. The tasks and activities, I have to emphasize, should be part of a therapist-led program. We are quite confident in this result. It was based on information from between 126 and almost 500 people with aphasia, who took part in between 4 and 17 randomized controlled trials. So what next? Well, from a research point of view, I would love to see many more trials that make direct comparisons between different types of therapy. From a clinical point of view, as a therapist, I'm taking from this information that usual care should start early after aphasia onset. And we've seen our results already changing some of the clinical guidelines to indicate that aphasia therapy should commence within 28 days of stroke onset. I would also say that usual care should regularly include prescribed home practice activities. I would encourage the use of computer-based practice, and family members or volunteers or assistants to also participate in supporting the provision of therapy. I'd like to finish up by saying thank you. So thank you to the people with aphasia who participate in research. Thank you to the many therapists that support the research process. Thank you to the aphasia researchers that share their data with these large review activities. And finally, thank you to the funders that support aphasia research. And thank you for listening.